With summer right around the corner, I bet many of you are looking for some extra help for your upcoming busy season. Whether that's an easy task for you or challenging because of our current hiring shortage, it's important to make sure your summer hires are included and introduced to your drug-free workplace program. Here are a few ways to make sure that happens. First, think through what your policy says about whether that summer help is even covered under your policy. If they're contractors who won't be issued a W-2, for example, they might not be subject to your policy. What about unpaid interns or those who will be put on your payroll but will be working limited hours? Be sure to check that out now before you bring them on board. And for those who are covered, what about drug testing? If you do pre-employment testing, you're going to have to test them unless for some reason you've exempted them from your program. Now, if you do new hire testing, meaning you don't test before they start, but instead during their first 30, 60, 90 days of employment, you may choose not to test them if they're going to be gone before the end of your new hire period. So you'll need to take a look and make sure you're following what your policy says. Now, if they're covered under your policy, even if you won't be testing them, you'll still want to educate them about your program. Obviously, a 1-hour drug-free education session explaining your program would be ideal, and if you're in the drug-free safety program, it's required, and you'll need to do it within their first 8 weeks on the job. At minimum, whether you're in the drug-free safety program or not, you'll want to make sure they get a copy of your policy, that you explain some of the key points, and have them sign your policy-related forms. Remember, it's possible that your new employee could have an accident their first day on the job that warrants a drug test. So be sure to get the form signed before they put a toe on the job so they fully understand your rules and when they could be tested. And speaking of signing forms, if you're hiring anyone under the age of 18, you may need a parent or guardian signature on one or more of your program-related forms, including a testing consent form. And make sure to think through how you'll respond if you're asked for the results of a minor's drug or alcohol test. It's a tricky situation that might warrant a call to your attorney. It can also be a little tricky if your new employee's first language isn't English. Because your policy is a legal document outlining the program's rules, expectations, and consequences, you'll want to be sure they understand it. So you may want to consider having your documents and education sessions translated so you know nothing is getting lost in translation. And finally, since we're talking about summer after all, you may be planning a company outing or social gatherings. If any of these events will include alcohol, make sure to follow your policy rules around alcohol consumption. In addition to having fun, your primary goal should be preventing high-risk drinking that could result in problems for both the employee and potentially for you. So with these things in mind, go forth and flourish in your summer hiring. And as always, if you need help or have questions on anything I've shared, give us a call. We're here for you.